Florida is doubling down. I'm Pam Puso, Fox News. Over the past week, Florida has reported more than 134,000 new coronavirus cases. That's the highest rate of infection since the pandemic started. Despite the numbers, the state's Republican governor isn't changing his tactics.
Ron DeSantis is defending his decision not to impose sweeping new pandemic restrictions. DeSantis argues parents, not politicians or the CDC, should decide if their children should wear masks in school. But Florida's pandemic problems are worsening.
Fox's Mark Meredith. In New Jersey, masks will be mandatory for all public school students, and the decision is not sitting well with many parents.
This is political overreach. This is harmful to our kids, and I will not stand for it.
Ginny Isaacson attended a protest yesterday in East Brunswick. Overall, new COVID-19 cases shot up to more than 254,000 yesterday, according to Johns Hopkins. That's the most since January. COVID-19 infections are said to be running rampant at our southern border. Fox News has obtained pictures of a crowded holding facility in Donna, Texas. Each pod there has between 40 and 60 people. COVID guidelines specify they should hold no more than 10.
According to Customs and Border Protection, they have encountered almost 1.3 million at the border between October and June. The July numbers have not yet been released.
Fox's Lauren Blanchard. As more migrants show up, more are starting to be expelled. The Biden administration is flying Central American families deep into Mexico, where they'll be deported to their home countries. In Afghanistan, the Taliban is on the march. One local official says a second provincial capital could soon fall to the terror group. America's listening to Fox News.
Jason in the House, the Jason Chaffetz podcast. There is always someone doing something stupid somewhere. Dive deeper than the headlines and the party lines as I take on American life, politics, and entertainment. Join me, Jason Chaffetz, every Wednesday as I shed light on the news and make some predictions along the way. You never know who will drop in. Subscribe now on FoxNewsPodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts.
Connect to Fox News Audio and the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
Good Saturday morning. Patchy dense fog is the story for this morning. Visibility could go down as low as less than a quarter of a mile. So take your time while driving. Otherwise, rain chances will hold off until the afternoon and evening. Temperatures will reach the mid-80s by noon. For your full forecast, head to 13WMAZ.com. From the 13 WMAZ Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson.
The following program paid for by Rosenberg Financial Group. Providing live finance advice since 1993. It's time for Your Money with Steve Rosenberg, Sherri Goss, Randy Goss, and Becca Wilton. To participate in today's program, call 478-742-0940 with your financial questions and comments. And now, live from the Macon studios of News Talk 940 WMAC, it's Your Money.
Good morning, Middle Georgia. Sherri Goss here with Becca Wilton to take your phone calls, 478-742-0940. And again, if you don't want to hear your voice on the radio, you don't like calling in and all that good stuff, you can always text. I'm going to give you Becca. Becca.
She didn't share my number today. Give me a text. It's 478-955-8284. I'll take your text and answer your questions.
Yay.
Like Sherri said, if you don't want to hear yourself on the air or you want to think it through before you speak it and you just want to text it out, send us a text and we'll answer your questions.
But I've had so many people, they're like, I listened to the show. I said, you should call in. They're like, I don't want to call in. So text Becca. She will answer your, and she can do it on the air, off the air. You can text her all 24/7, 7 days a week, anytime you want. She's going to be available all the time.
I have this one client, and he had this joke, and he was like, hey, so when I call you and I can't sleep at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I said, yeah, to go right to voicemail, because he only had my work number. And I go, and I'll call you back when I get back to work.
Yeah. No, you're supposed to stay up all night, answer all these questions.
That's what you do. I like to sleep.
Anywho, so we had a conference this week. Steve, Nancy, Randy, and I went to a conference. 14 hours to get to the place. I just got back Thursday. I mean, I am exhausted from 14 hours of traveling. I'm sitting for 14 hours about killed me.
That's what, 28 total if you take the front and the end.
Sunday there, Thursday back. It was great. It was beneficial, but why did we have to travel 14 hours? A Zoom wouldn't have worked. I mean, I couldn't have got what I got from a Zoom, but can we just go to Atlanta next time? Just please.
Start a suggestion box and have all the people recommend Atlanta.
Yes. So there's signs all over in the ground, and whenever there's signs all over in the ground that have a nonprofit org at the end, I have to know what the heck is going on. And there's this group, it's called WorkSourceGAportal.com, and they are promoting careers in construction. And this is free education. You can sign up. They're boot camps where you can go in. It says you must attend an information session in order to participate in the Construction Ready program. Sign up and a Construction Ready representative will reach out to you with the date and location to attend a session. The only place that they're doing the training here is the Plumbing and Heating Cooling Contractors Association of Georgia. That's where they're doing the training. But it's literally 4 weeks and you have a job. That is how desperate they are for people to do construction work. I doubt that anybody listening to this show wants to do construction work. But
it's hot out there.
Yeah, it's really hot out there. But if you know somebody looking for something to do and they don't have a career and they're lost, whatever, this is an opportunity. And if you need the if you need the
information,
the website, just you can email me, Sherri, Sherri at rfmoney.com. And you have to register, which this process takes about 3 minutes and can be completed on any cell phone with an internet connection. They're really trying to make this easy because they're desperate for people. Anyway.
And so people that are listening probably have kids and grandkids, though, and they might need some jobs. So,
right.
Pass the word along. There's so many opportunities for free education out there, free, training programs.
Everywhere.
Like Sherri said, they're desperate for people. So now's the time.
The next one is I get the emails from Central Georgia Tech. So if you're a Central Georgia Tech college student, the program $321GO ! Can help reduce your out-of-pocket costs or even eliminate them. So here's this kid, incoming industrial system student Griffin Crowder was getting ready to pay. What?
I know him.
Get out of here.
No, seriously, he went to Perry.
Oh my gosh.
He's a freshman this year at Central Georgia Tech.
So he was getting ready to pay nearly $2,000 for his semester, and he walked away paying $0 because he was eligible for the program. What? I don't even know where this money's coming from. It's like free money through Central Georgia Tech. I don't understand it.
I know. We need to look into this. My stepson's going to Central Georgia Tech this fall, and I'm like,
okay.
Wait, we didn't click on this website, and we didn't get the free money, so we need to find out how to get it.
So anybody going to a technical college in the state of Georgia needs to look into this. It's $321GO! That is the name of the program. If you can't get it, you're driving your car, and you can't write it down or whatever because you don't want to have a wreck, you can text us or call us or email us, whatever you want to do, and we will send it to you because this is a big deal. It says when you go to apply for financial aid on their website, all you have to do is check a box on the application.
From there, you find out how much money you're eligible for.
You check a box. How hard is this?
It's like it's Christmas. They're trying to give money everywhere you turn around. Please just take the money. Check the box.
Please take
go
a
online,
free job,
use your
free
phone.
training, free money. Woo!
So this morning on the way in, I passed a billboard close to Hartley Bridge Road, and it said, I think it was Yancey and a Caterpillar supply.
They're on I-75.
It said free training plus $5,000 free in tools. So that'd be a lot of tools.
Plus, I think you make $15 an hour when they hire you.
Wow.
Doesn't it? But the free tools are a big deal. You probably have to stay there a year or something. But once you have the free tools, then you could go wherever you want.
Right.
I mean, get a start. Free training and tools. Everybody's throwing stuff at people to go, McDonald's is offering $50 if you come in for an interview. Please.
Isn't this a sad state of America that you have to
God.
beg people and pay them just to get interviews?
It's so crazy.
But yeah, just be on the lookout, and if you are looking for a job, you know, you may not be into construction or something that involves tools, but, you know, just go online and look up the area that you're interested in, because every place is hurting for people, and there's got to be all sorts of opportunities and maybe something that you're more interested in if it's not one of these categories we've talked about.
Think about the heavy equipment jobs, heavy equipment work of all this construction going on downtown that's going to take another 7 years. I mean, where are they going to find the people to do all this? I'm amazed that they even have people showing up. In fact, I was on the way down here this morning, and I was talking to a police officer. He was walking a route, and he said, we don't have enough people to even do everything we've got to do. Our priorities are like so narrow because we don't have enough people to even surveillance anything. It's just sad. So there's jobs everywhere. Anywho, alrighty. So, do you know anybody who recently lost a spouse? So this is amazing. 15 million Americans are currently widowed, and the number is increasing monthly because we're all getting older, and
we're all living longer.
Yeah,
so
and 3/4 of these are women, which we met with a client yesterday whose husband just passed a few months ago. And so the first thing, so here's the deal. It is so overwhelming. And what I noticed with a lot of couples is the husband still does the money. He does the money, he pays the bills, he has the internet, website, passwords, he has all of that. And if he dies suddenly, you're sitting there without having paid any of this stuff. So if you're a couple, you need to make sure you get on the same page with how to do everything. How to pay the bills, where everything is, what's the password to the safe, all of that. I mean, even something as simple as taking the car in for service and how frequently you do that. My best example, I have a client, he was diagnosed with cancer 3 years ago. He passed away this year, but he created a spreadsheet of instructions for his wife of how to do everything. He started teaching her how to run the lawnmower, when to put oil in this, when to do that, when to lubricate this, how to fix this, how to use all the tools, how to do the grass, how to do everything. And he wrote everything down specifically, all the passwords, how to log in, how to pay the bills, and even instructions after he died of what to do. What to do once he passed away with the funeral home, the life insurance, all the accounts, how the money was going to transfer to her. He had it all written out, the whole nine. We all should be that prepared because you don't know. But I just see a lot of people that are caught short because they really don't expect to be a widower.
Well, and we've talked about this several times. So there's some people out there that don't want to face it, and people that don't want to think about it. People want to say if they don't talk about it, it won't happen. But we've mentioned on the show many times that everybody's going to die, and you never know your time. And it just leaves
Randy used to be that. Randy was like that.
He would never talk about it?
No, he would not talk about it. So one day he comes home, and I've got the life insurance application on the table, and I said, you need to sign this. He goes, what is this? I said, it's $1 million life insurance on you. He said, why do you need $1 million? I said, because if you die, I'm really in a mess. Because we got kids going to college, you're not retired from the military, you've got to bridge the gap. I've got to bridge the gap and know that I'm going to be okay. But I think he got orders to Afghanistan. I think that was a trigger for me. But who cares what the trigger is? You've got to make sure that you're protected and that you can handle everything. So please have these conversations. Go to our website, retirerelax.com, download or look at the life book and just go through what it tells you to do, and you're going to have everything in order. And it's all going to be better than if you didn't.
And come and see us. We'll be happy to help and facilitate some of these conversations, because sometimes it does take maybe, having an outside opinion or a third person looking at the situation, but just to get those conversations started. And, I think as we see the older generation, we do see a lot of the people where the man took care of everything. And, like you said, we have a lot of, female widows that come in and they don't have an idea about a lot of the finances, where things were, how to take care of things.
She's in her early 40s. She didn't handle anything. It's something with our culture. There's something about the guy does all that. It's real weird to me because we've always both been on the same page, but I see it frequently that it doesn't matter what the age is. It's the guy handles that stuff. like the car maintenance or the, the guy does these things. But you have to understand how stuff works. But I don't care.
It's really nice to be taken care of. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
But there comes a time where he may not be there. Maybe he gets, hurt
Sick.
or injured, or anything could happen
Right.
at any time, and you need to be able to take care of yourself. Don't get stuck where, you're in this horrible grieving process and trying to deal with stuff, and then on top of it trying to learn how to mow your grass or get your oil changed or
turn the tractor on. Yeah. So we have a special report on our website too, what to do when your spouse dies, and it walks you through all of those steps. So if you have anybody in your world, you can literally download it and email it to them, and if they would sit down and just read through it, it'll help them tremendously.
At the bottom of the page, you had the part about don't give away money, and make sure you pay yourself first. And the lady we had in yesterday, she has a sizable estate, and she has really enjoyed giving money away and seeing how she's able to benefit other people. But she says, I just don't know how much I'm going to need, and so I would, if I could pick an exact dollar amount and knew exactly how much I would need for my life, then I would feel so comfortable giving away everything else I have. But you do need to protect yourself, especially when you've worked your whole life to save this money and you want to have a comfortable retirement, or if you do need assisted living or other care, you want to be able to provide that for yourself.
Which is running about $100,000 a year.
It's just crazy.
It is. Unless you have long-term care insurance, or unless you're a veteran or a spouse of a veteran, then you have to qualify for aid and attendance benefits. Now, there's an income and an asset cap, so you don't just automatically get that unless you physically go to Dublin. I mean, not Dublin. Yeah, Dublin. The VA there, you can get around that according to the people I've talked to there, but I don't know. So understand your options, understand how stuff works, and don't be pressured to give money to any of your kids. I tell you what, if my kids came to me, if Randy passed away and they came to me begging for money, I'd probably write them out of the will.
Well, we've seen that happen too.
It's like, do not do that. Be independent, and if you get something when someone dies, great. But
use it for something good.
Don't expect it.
Right.
Don't live expecting that that's going to bail you out. That's not a good plan.
Mentioned in long-term care, we've wanted to talk about this a couple times, and we actually forgot to write it down again.
Yeah.
But Sherri had a client come in and say that her parents were on long-term care insurance because she had worked on the base and she'd gotten them coverage, and we were just blown away that was an option. And so I did a little research on it, and absolutely, the federal long-term care insurance programs available to eligible federal U.S. postal employees and regular federal employees, and annuitants, and active and retired uniformed service members, and certain qualified relatives. So you just have to be a federal employee and eligible for your federal employees' health benefits. So you don't actually have to even be enrolled in any of these benefits yourself. You just have to be eligible to be enrolled.
Gosh.
And then you can have your family members can enroll.
What family members? Just parents?
No. Other eligible the family members are spouses. It says not ex-spouses, though. Domestic partners, same sex or opposite sex.
What?
Adult children, 18 years or older, living eligible employees and retirees. It includes adopted and stepchildren. So children of domestic partners are considered stepchildren. So even if you have just a domestic partner and their kids, you can cover them if they're over 18. And parents, parents-in-law, and step-parents of living and eligible employees.
You need to send that to me. I need to print that out so I remember to talk to people about it when they come see me, and I need to give them a printout of that. I had never heard of this in my life. And so this person that we were talking to, Steve and I were meeting with this woman who's a client of Steve's. He is retiring. So we were both meeting with him because I'm meeting with all of his clients. And she's fairly young. So I was surprised that she signed up for it, but she has Alzheimer's. It runs in her family. And so they know this. And so she went ahead and applied for it. And because she applied for it, her parents were able to apply for it. And they're both receiving care right now. And it's providing 5 years of care for them. It's paying for 100% of it. And so all the money
it's good insurance, too. It's not just a crappy policy.
Right. It's a really, John Hancock, it's really good insurance. It's better than anything I can write. I mean, I've compared what I can do to this, and I cannot beat it. There's nobody out there that can beat this. And the qualifications of getting accepted into it is less than what my clients have to go through if I put them through a run-of-the-mill policy. So this is a really big deal. So if you want more information on this, email Becca, BECCA at rfmoney.com, and she can forward this information to you, because this is serious, and you're going to go into open enrollment season probably in October.
But there's no open enrollments on this.
What?
You can anytime.
Anytime?
And like you're saying, that daughter, she signed up for it, but you don't even have to sign up for it. So like my husband works on base, and he's eligible for health benefits, but he doesn't have long-term care. But we could sign up my dad. We could sign up my adult kids. Anybody that's related to me or him.
Y'all need to get on it, like now. Now, the premiums are going to go up, so you have to realize that is a thing. I had a call with a client just yesterday. I wrote a policy on her 10 years ago, and her premiums keep going up, but they are still good. You got to think about this. When you're looking at the cost, think about $100,000 a year for care. That's what this is going to cost. And so look at the insurance premiums. If you're paying $1,000 a year, but it's going to pay off $100,000 a year, you have to do a cost-benefit analysis. And let's say you're 50 and you're going to pay for it for 30 years. 30 years times the premium, and then look at that compared to the benefit. That's how I look at this stuff. And if you want to talk about it with us, either of us will sit down for free. We don't charge anything. We'll sit down and do an analysis of you. But if you have, we have policies, and I'll tell you what, the company that we were with really screwed up. I was with Mass Mutual before I got with Steve, and they were pushing this 10 pay, and my business was able to pay the premium pre-tax.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think they have that anymore. So we did 10-year, paid up, lifetime, unlimited benefits, and the benefits go up every year, and they're stuck with us.
And Randy.
They're on the hook. And so that was a mistake. But back then, they thought, oh, people probably aren't going to finish paying for it. They're not going to go on benefits. I mean, the chance of, we had the odds of whatever statistics of how many people are going to use care, and they were wrong. Because more people are living longer and needing care. So if you qualify for this, please get the information and sign up. Seriously, it's worth it. But you've got to also, in your retirement numbers, you've got to calculate if you can long-term afford to pay the premium, because you don't want to get into it and then drop it.
Right. We've had several people come in and really be on the edge of wanting to drop it, because when you start looking, when expenses get tight and something comes up, you look at this chunk, and I've had several clients, and theirs have been closer to $4,000 and $5,000 a year, and that's a big premium.
Right.
And they get kind of antsy about it. And I had a couple come in, and they each had 2 different policies, so 4 policies between the 2 of them. And he's 84, and he's like, I really want to drop this. And I'm like, you're 84, gosh. You're getting closer to the time you would need this, and he's still fairly healthy, but you never know, one slip and fall can hurt somebody and they end up in a facility. But I did a chart for them, just an Excel spreadsheet, and showed how much they paid for each policy and how much total. And if they were in the facility for 1 month, that 1-year premium is covered, because they each had over $6,000 a month that would be covered for their care. So you just have somebody else look at it. If you bought it at some point, you obviously thought it was a good idea.
Right.
So don't jump ship. And there could be cases where it could be the best thing maybe to cancel it. But
right.
We haven't seen that really in our experiences. But get a second opinion. Come and talk to us. We'd be happy to look at it for you and see what makes sense for you and your situation.
And here's a statistic from that book, Longevity, that I was reading. We have once you hit 90, there's a 50% chance that you will have Alzheimer's. 50%
wow.
in this country right now. And the average length of care is 12 years. 12 years of care in a dementia facility.
That's
that
a
is
long time.
$100,000 a year right now. That's how bad this is. So take it seriously. Please don't drop your coverage. If you can sign up for this thing, this is the best deal around.
Yep. So email me, Becca, BECCA, at rfmoney.com, and I will send you information about it.
So what do you want to talk about next?
What was the next one you had? Oh, the family bank.
Oh. So here's the other thing that I see is when a woman loses her husband, I typically have this deal where she wants to give away a bunch of money. And once you start the process of that, you're going to attract bees like your honey. You're going to attract all these people to you who are like, oh, she's giving away money. Well, let's get some more money. We don't even give money for our kids for birthdays anymore. We don't give $1 because they started expecting it. We were given $500 on their birthdays, and one year our daughter called and she goes, "Are you giving me that $500 this year?" And I said, I'm not sure why. She goes, "Oh, well, I'm going to use it for this." So she was expecting to buy something because she expected to get it, and we shut it down because
budgeting in her birthday money.
Yeah, because she's like, "Oh, I'm going to use it for this." It's like, okay, that's ending. That's right now. Boom. You get a text message now.
Your son's probably not happy that she cut that off for both of them.
And I might surprise him once in a while with something, but I'm not going to have any set expectation of nothing, period. I don't give the grandbaby anything because everybody gives her so much she doesn't need anything. So I don't know, I sound like a horrible person, but I'm not going to be the family bank. I mean, there's no way. And don't tell people how much money you have. That is the key. Because if you tell everybody, "Oh, look at what I've got," and then, "Oh, but can I have some of that?"
See, my dad does a really good job of that. He always acts really poor, and we have no idea what he has.
I like it.
And he's like, "Well, is there a food bank available?" But yeah, he'll go on a cruise or something. So we know he's eating well. I'm like, "You don't look like you've missed a lot of meals, Dad." But yeah, he probably doesn't want us to think, "Oh, well, he's got all this extra money, and he's only got 20 or 30 years left at the most." So he should share that.
But we have a friend who is the family bank, and he doesn't have a lot of money, but everybody expects him to pay for everything, and we keep trying to explain to him, quit, because every time you bail someone out, there's a line. You create a line of more people that want to get a bailout because they see, "Oh, he can do that."
Well, that expectation, like you said, becomes there. And I think if you're talking about your friend that has done some work for you guys, I mean, he doesn't have that much money himself, but he
doesn't.
Works himself to death, and he does have some money, and it's more than his family. And so it's not always about having tons of money, but having more money than the people around you.
Right.
And these people take advantage of you, and they come up with stories. They come up with, really sad sob stories that make you feel bad. But, I mean, these people aren't working hard, and this poor guy's working his butt off to try and support himself, and then everybody's taking advantage of him.
I know. We're trying to fix that. We're working on it.
I got a text, Sherri. Isn't that exciting? A gentleman that asked if the long-term federal insurance was available for veterans, and I think so, but let me check on that. So I will have a final answer next week for everybody, but I will email him back on Monday.
I think you said that, but I need a print out of that whole article.
Because it said annuitants, so I'm not sure if it means the people that are already that have worked for the government and are getting their annuity at this point, like either your first pension or your military retirement, but it said annuitants, so I'm going to assume that would be veterans.
Yeah,
but I will get some exact information, and I will email that to you, Jim. Thank you.
Yay, good question. Please, text Becca, BECCA.
Or no, that's the email.
Oh, sorry.
My text is 478-955-8284.
I'm still jet lagged.
And you can call us, 478-742-0940.
It's 9:30. Why don't you tell them what we do?
So we do financial planning and investing, and we help people of all ages, and we love to do complimentary consultations. Come in and talk to us. We want to help you get set up on a roadmap and a plan to have a great future. We work with people in all different areas of employments and ages and different stages of their life. I had a gentleman in on Friday, and he had an old custodial account that just had a couple $1,000s in it, but it had actually grown, and he'd used it for a down payment, and he'd taken a chunk out. But we were talking about it, and he's self-employed, and he hasn't really started saving for his retirement because he's self-employed. And we started talking about it, and he's like, "Well, I'll work on that. I'll do that." And I said, even if you start out small, and something about that just clicked in his mind. And he's like, "Well, I could start small." And I'm like, even if you start with $25 a month and you start saving, and then in a year or 6 months you add the 50, and then you go to 100, you won't notice it as much. But some people think if they have to start saving, they have to automatically start saving $500 or $600 a month or something big.
Right.
But we can look at your situation, and we'll help you with a budget if you need. We'll help you anything, whatever your situation is that you need help at, and get you headed in the right direction. We do. We have a Retire Relax program where we help people that are retired or about to retire, and we help you with your investments and make sure that your investments protected for the long haul. So we can go into more detail about that. You come visit us. We have a website. We've got videos on there. We've got a YouTube channel and lots of self-help videos. So we just want to help the world, don't we?
It's a lot of fun. I love meeting people. It's just so fun. And we have the nicest people that come in and see us and ask questions and want advice, and they may never come back, and that's fine. And they're like, "You don't charge for this?" And we don't. And that's what's so great about it. And there's no hook. We're not going to bother you. We're not going to chase you into the parking lot. We just don't do that. And so just come and get some advice. We'll have a good time.
So I had a client email me this weekend, and he asked, he has a small emergency fund with us, and he's using that, his Dave Ramsey steps. He went through all of that,
yay.
And that's his emergency fund, and he has it in something kind of some bonds, a good safe mix. And he said, okay, I need some more money. I got a new plan. He said he wants a beach house, and in 10 years he wants to retire, and he wants a beach house. And he gave me some parameters and said, how can I make this happen? Help me. And so we went through, asked some questions, and he came in to visit, and we went through, some different scenarios.
Where's the beach house going to be?
Well, he'd said Pensacola in the email. And
That's
then when
pretty cheap. That's about the cheapest deal you're going to get, probably.
Well, and I asked him, he came in.
Is he military?
He is retired military.
Because I think he can get a deal on the base. There's something going on there where I had somebody talking to me about retired military, and there's some gig that you can, some kind of deal you can get on that military base.
But you have to buy a house on that base?
I can't remember. I don't remember what it is, but there's something there. Or maybe you can just stay in the building for cheap. I don't know. I can't remember what somebody was telling me, but they were planning on moving there because of the base. Probably because they could use the base medical. That's probably what it was. So military, stay there. Okay, that's probably what it was. Never mind. Probably not, but probably the best deal you can get around on the beach. I mean, it's probably about the best.
Well, and he said that he was going to come back in this week, and he said he was going to Panama City. And I said, well, are you still wanting to move to Pensacola or Panama City? He's like, well, we went to Pensacola, and it wasn't quite as nice as we thought, and we aren't sure, but they're worried about the cost of, like, Fort Walton's, where they really like.
Right.
So, anyway, so he's, I think, a little up in the air on that, but that's his goal, is to sell this house and get his house paid off now. So we ran different scenarios, and it was just so much fun. We both had just a blast, and he's like, this has been great. And then we came up with some other options, and he was trying to decide exactly how much he had to put in as his initial investment to start investing. And so he's like, okay, I slept on it last night, and he sent me a new email yesterday, and he's like, okay, how about this and that? And it's just really fun to work with people that are kind of into the finances too, and they just need that little extra help and a sounding board.
They're at a decision point.
Yes.
They're at a decision point, and they're like waffling around just a little bit. They just need another person's eyes and brain to look at it and see.
Because he really wants to pay his house off early, but if he starts investing all that extra money, he's going to build that nest egg quicker if the rates, can.
But is he going to keep the house and then move to the beach?
No, he's going to sell the house.
Yeah,
so that
I wouldn't pay the house off then.
And so he's really pushing for that, and I showed him the numbers, and he's like, well, I guess the math doesn't lie. But he needed that extra push, I think, and I'm not sure if he's completely set on that, but now he's thought if he grows the investment account, and then if it gets to the point where he can pay off the house, he could do that if he wanted to, and then start the investment account over. But he is going to use the house. He's going to sell that and use that towards his beach house. But we just really enjoy helping people with things like that.
Yeah,
I look at it like a little puzzle. And then he, walks away and he has a plan for his future. And so when he goes to work every day for the next 10 years, he's thinking about his future and he's has
making
a goal.
Progress.
Yes.
And every day he's moving closer to it. That's the key. That's when it becomes, instead of being a chore, it becomes exciting, because you start seeing the possibilities and you start seeing that money building up and you start seeing it growing, and you're choosing to make a difference in your own life.
And you have hope.
Huge. Yeah. But anyways, if you're going to go to Panama City, I advise you look at the calendar and make sure it's not bike week. Have you ever been in a bike week?
I have. I did that one time. It was very noisy. It was interesting, though. Very interesting. But you can't get into, like, any restaurants down, like, in Navy Pier area or anything.
No, that's not good. Anyways, so excellent.
All right, so don't give all your money away. That was the family bank.
There you go.
And call us, because it's always good to have an outsider look over your situation. And that's one thing, when we do meet with people, we talk about, we say, what about your kids? What about your parents? And we kind of look at your situation of who you might have in your life that might need money and that you might be willing to help and that you should help possibly. But then also some situations where maybe we can kind of say, well, your financial situation right now doesn't warrant that, and maybe you need to take care of yourself first.
Awesome. I want to skip this next one. I feel like we've already covered it.
Okay.
The retirement thing. And so this lawsuit. Okay, so there's a federal lawsuit against a Macon-based firm who cheated investors reportedly, this is not proven yet, of $3.3 million. So how does this work? So the best example was back in 2019, there was a big Milledgeville firm, and this guy was the guy in Milledgeville. We have a lake house out there. Our son runs an automotive shop in Milledgeville, and so we know a lot of people out there. And so I was asking people about this, and I'm like, what the heck? And they said, this was the guy. This is the guy. If you had money, you went to this guy. And so what he did is elderly people would come to him and they would write checks and they would want to invest money because they had all this money just sitting around in the bank. And they're like, let me give you this money so you can invest it. And the problem is they made the checks out to his firm. So this would be like coming to Rosenberg Financial Group and making the check out to Rosenberg Financial Group. And I have had people actually do that and give me checks. We cannot accept that. The money has to be out to Pershing because that is our custodian. That is where the money is actually physically held, like a bank. And so the money goes to Pershing. It sits on their platform. We invest it off their platform, but it is held away from us. We do not have custodian. We're not the custodian of your funds. It's illegal.
And that's why we don't do it.
Right. And so these people, these elderly people were going to this guy in Milledgeville, and he would say, make the check out to my firm, blah, blah. And they would make out the check. He would deposit the money into his firm account, and then he would transfer it into his personal account and spend it. The guy had an airplane. He had condos. He had sports cars. He had all this stuff. He ripped off millions of dollars of elderly people, and people were not looking at their statements to see where their money was. I don't understand this, and I can understand now if he preyed on people with dementia, that guy needs to
well,
be
and some
something.
of the cases like this, I was talking about yesterday the American Greed show they have, and it shows all these different cases of different financial scams through the years, and a lot of times they'll have a whole entire second set of statements, and so sometimes they may be getting a statement and it's completely fictitious, and they have no
Bernie
idea.
Madoff.
Yeah.
That's what Bernie Madoff did. So Bernie Madoff gave people fake return numbers, and so they gave him millions of dollars to invest, and then he printed out fake statements, and he had the money personally held with himself. So he was using the money, spending the money, then printing out fake statements, and that's what Bernie Madoff did. This guy just didn't send out statements. So how the guy in Milledgeville got caught is one of the clients came to him and brought her daughter, and they were doing an estate planning review because the daughter wanted to know where everything was. And the mother said, I don't have a statement for so-and-so account that I put $200,000 in. And that's how this whole thing blew up. And they found out the guy had stolen, I think, $2 million from elderly people that just weren't paying attention to where their money was. So that's how this works. And I can't believe people are still getting away with this today. It's just sickening that this happens. And the problem is they've already spent the money. So it takes years for them to get prosecuted, years for them to get punished and all of their assets liquidated. And the odds are the liquidation of the assets is not going to equal what they've stolen from people. So you have to know that your money is held at a custodial level, period. I mean, I don't understand how this is still happening, and I don't understand. And here's the other thing. So we're audited every year. We could not even do this if we tried.
So I was going to say, they take all our bank statements and they ask about every check and every deposit, where this money come from.
We're audited on a personal level. I mean, so there's no way. But these guys are out there. They're out there. They don't have the level of supervision that we have. So it's very sad. But here in Macon, they're saying $3.3 million. This guy cheated somebody out of a bunch of money. So
it gives us all a bad name.
It does.
And it makes people leery of it.
Yes, but just understand that is the bottom line, is the custodial part. That is it.
Right.
So if your money's held away at a custodian, you're good. All right. Money and your spouse. So money problems are often identified as one of the top reasons for marital troubles. Go figure. I did a thing, Facebook Live thing on Channel 13 years ago, and a bunch of millennials were running it, and they were videotaping me taking calls and answering questions live from people. And this one girl calls in, and she's like, yeah, we're married, and my husband won't talk to me about his money or his credit. He won't tell me how much money he makes. He won't tell me if he has saved any money. He won't tell me what his credit looks like. Why would you marry somebody that won't even tell you these things?
He sounds like he's about ready to run.
I mean, why? I said I would not even, at this day and age, the way things are today, I wouldn't even date somebody without seeing their credit report. What is the point? Why would I hook up with some person who has horrible credit and can't manage their money? I have no patience for it at this point in my life. I'm 60.
That was one big thing. When I met Ben, my husband, now we've been married a little over 10 years, I found out what his credit score was.
Oh, you did?
Yes, absolutely. Because that was a big thing.
That was a prerequisite?
Yes. So I went through a divorce, and I had a list of like non-negotiables, and there were certain things that I wanted to make sure the person that I was going to end up with,
And he wasn't offended?
No, well, I don't know if I told him about it initially. And we just like, I fit it into conversation. It wasn't like, can I see your credit report? Pull it up on your phone right now.
On the third date?
Yeah, no. But, and is our second marriage. So you do talk about a lot more and a lot quicker because you're like, I don't have time for all this. We're not going to play games and act like
seriously.
we're different people for a long time. But, it was over 800. So that was pretty impressive. That was like one thing that really attracted me to my husband.
Awesome. So anyways, really, I used to do premarital counseling back when I was going to be a marriage and family therapist. And it's just amazing. This is way a long time ago, but it's amazing to me what people didn't know about each other, and they were going to get married. And I was working in this Christian counseling firm that was paid for by a church. And so the church, before they would marry anybody, they would send them to me for 3 sessions.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. My biggest success was the couple that after 3 sessions with me, they decided not to get married.
And you saved a divorce.
I did. I ran into the guy in like Walmart a year later, and he came up and hugged me. He's like, you changed my life. Oh, my gosh. He said that was the biggest mistake we could have possibly made because all our friends were getting married. So we're like, let's get married. And we had no business getting married. He said, I finally met the right person, and I'm married to her. She was standing there. I'm married to her instead of this other person that I almost screwed up and married. But anyways.
So if that lady liked her husband, she's probably really thankful for you, too.
Right.
She got rid of the other girl.
But, yeah, just the whole thing of couples and goals and working together is a really big deal. I just happened to marry somebody that we think alike and we communicate a lot, and so it's easy. But not everybody is there. I meet people all the time. It's a couple where one makes all the financial decisions and the other one just kind of goes along with it. And if that's you, you need to start having conversations about money and goals and the future and be on the same page of all of this. It's a big deal.
And come and see us. We'd be happy to help.
We'll have a blast.
To facilitate that.
Yeah.
This article we had was talking about some things about bringing up your childhood. And, without getting really deep, Sherri and I are both kind of into the financial therapy side of it, too, because so many things that you do and so many thoughts around your money come from your childhood and what you see your parents do and what you were taught and what you were told. And to bring some of these things up in kind of a group setting, just having somebody kind of facilitate it. It's talking about, when did you have an allowance as a child? When did you get your first job? And, there's kids that never had to work. And then if you're marrying some kid, like my sweet future daughter-in-law, she's been working her little butt off since she was like 15 or 16. And she worked hard. And, she helped feed her brother when things got tight in her family. And so she knows what hard work's all about.
How old is she now?
She's 21.
Wow.
And so if she, married somebody that never even had to work in high school, it would be harder for them to understand. And then down the road when you raise children, that's something I think you should talk about before you have children is how are you going to handle money with them? Do they get everything they want? They get all the designer clothes? Or, do they have to work for it? Is there a budget? You've talked about when the kids get older, teaching them, like give them their money for the month and let them take care of
that was a
things.
big deal. That was really an eye-opener for the daughter. We did that her senior year before she went off to college. We figured out what we spent on her, and we gave her that dollar amount monthly, and she was responsible for clothing, personal items, all of it. I mean, we still fed her, but everything else was on her, so she could understand how to manage her own money on a monthly basis because she was going to be on a budget. I wasn't giving her a credit card. Like all of her friends had their parents' credit cards, and they would just blow alcohol, eating out, clothing. I mean, it was crazy what these kids are doing in college. I was on a budget because I had to work in the summer, and I saved my money, and that's what I had to spend during the year. That's all I had. So, I was in a sorority, and this is one of the smart things. We had a room where everybody kept all of their evening gowns because you had all these things you had to go to all year long that were dressy.
Yeah.
And so everybody shared their clothes. And so you could go into this room and you could wear whatever's dress. And people would, when they graduated, they would just leave them. So we had this giant room full of all these evening dresses. You could just go pick one out and try it on and wear it and wash it and put it back. And
yeah, that's a huge expense being in a sorority and fraternity. Those dresses and all the parties you go to.
Yeah. So there's ways around the expense. There's ways around all of that. You just got to figure it out. But being on the same page with your spouse is huge.
Well, and, having those priorities together and making sure that you're, is one person thinking about a huge house when they retire and a huge beach house? Is the other person thinking they want an RV and they want to travel or they want to downsize? Yeah, to go to the mountains. But And then I think together, if you have the group goals, and again, if you've talked through this and you are on the same page with it, like my husband and I, we want a lake house someday. And so if we work towards those goals together, it's going to build your marriage and make it stronger than, in your mind, you've never talked about it, and he secretly wants to go to the beach and I want to go to the mountains, and we've never talked about it, and then you get to retirement and you're like, wait, no, I've been saving my whole time for this, or,
Right. Yeah, it's a big deal to be on the same page.
And budgeting, you don't want to hide anything from your spouse. We see that sometimes where, one person's a real big spender and they kind of like keep it hidden from the other person. And I have several people in this week that all kept their finances separate. And even
that's a big trend.
One lady, she's 65 and she just retired. I've never seen somebody so happy. She came in a couple times this week and she just had a smile. I was like, how was your week? She's like, it's wonderful. I'm retired now. She's been retired a little over a month. But she said her and her husband keep everything separate, and she didn't have any idea how much his retirement was or anything. And, she was just getting hers, so she kind of had an idea of what hers were. But she's kind of one of those ladies that, I think he takes care of everything. And I think I need to work with her over the next couple of years.
I think she needs to get the passwords to everything.
Yes.
And the bank, know where the bank accounts are. That's a big problem. If something happens to someone, you don't even know where the bank accounts are. That's a huge problem. So at least share that information. You don't have to, because our kids, we have a son. He and his wife split everything down the middle, 50-50. Everything they spend, that's what they do. Every bill, groceries, the whole nine. They split that. I can't imagine that.
It's too much to keep track of, isn't it?
It's a lot to keep track of. But they do it all on their phone, and they just work it out, and somehow it's fine. They both are okay with it. But we've just always thrown everything in a pot together.
It's funny. There's that Venmo app, and you can give money, back and forth to people real easy. And when you're on there, if you have like any associates or friends or contacts through different social media platforms, it kind of connects you to those people. And it's really funny. I have a few people I used to work with, and they're younger, in their like early 30s or late 20s, and they're married, and I'll see them go back and forth between the married couple saying for groceries or for this and that. And so, just like that, they're keeping track and paying each other back for the groceries, and it's kind of funny.
But it is a big trend.
I got another text.
Yay.
A lady said that after my husband passed away, she checked with Gwenworth and found out after 10 years, and they'd bought the policy in 2016, that she'd no longer had to pay premiums. And she said that you had checked with Gwenworth for him, and you guys couldn't believe it. Oh.
Genworth,
okay. And they bought the policy through you, and you both learned
Genworth is
that.
Fantastic. So she did a 10 pay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, she bought it after 10 years, and she didn't realize it, I guess, but then she didn't have to pay the premiums anymore.
Right.
So.
That was the best deal ever. That's exactly what I did, but I did it through Mass Mutual, a 10 pay, and it's paid up, and they're stuck with us, lady. They're stuck with us. They can't dump us. No way. Even if they went bankrupt, they'd be stuck with us because the policy terms, somebody else would have to absorb that. So
she can start checking out all the assisted living facilities and see which one she wants.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I had a client in this week, and he said he has been listening to us, listened to me recently, but listened to you and Steve on the radio, and he said, since 1993.
Wow.
So, Cy, we appreciate you and all your listening.
Yay. And the number is 478-742-0940 if you'd like to call. But a lot of people don't want to hear their own voice on the radio, and I get that. So just text Becca. She's doing a good job of answering her phone. I'm not looking at mine. I'm still on jet lag mode.
Oh, and then Randy also had an email a week or so ago from a lady named Donna. I guess she'd shared some green bean recipes, she got your green bean recipe. You and Randy talked about it one weekend.
That's hilarious.
And so Randy's been emailing with her. So Donna, you're appreciated too. Thank you.
Yeah, we got lots of good recipes. That'd be funny to start posting in our Facebook feeds.
There we go.
So avoiding capital gains. So I had a client prospect in a few weeks ago, and he did a 1031 exchange, and he was struggling because he did the 1031 exchange to save the taxes from selling one property, and they bought a lake property. Well, they thought that the kids were going to use the lake property, and the kids have all moved away. So they're like going out and cutting the grass on the weekend, and it's not like this place where they go and have a good time. It's just there.
The money pit.
Yeah. Not so much a money, but there's actually not a property on it. It's just land.
Oh.
See, I misunderstood it when we were talking. I thought it was a lake house. It's just lake property. So they thought that the kids would build on it, and then it would be this place where everybody hung out and had a good time.
Okay.
Well, everybody moved away, and so it's not that. But he said, but the problem is I did the 1031 exchange to avoid capital gains on this property into the lake property. So now if I sell the lake property, all those gains follow me into that property. So we looked at the rates, and it's not going to be that bad. Because the first 40 grand, I believe, or is that the 80 grand? I'm trying to remember. Do you have the sheet?
I do.
Yay.
So if they're married, it's 80 grand.
Okay. So, yeah, the first 80, if you're married, is exempt. And then after that, you pay 15%?
15% up to 500,000.
Yeah. So we did the math on it, and it's like, for the hassle and whatever, and get the money out of it and invest it somewhere else, that's probably what they're going to do. But we don't talk about this often enough about how taxes work. Is there a phone call?
Oh, all right.
Yay. Good morning. You're on with Becca and Sherri. Uh-oh.
They hung up on us. Did we not get
Call
them fast
back.
enough? Yeah. We're here. We want to talk to you.
Did you push the right button, CT? But so yeah, people are scared of capital gains, and
they're back.
There we go again.
All right.
Yay! Good morning. You're on with Becca and Sherri.
Yeah, hey, this is Harold from Warner Robins, and I'm with a local financial planner here, and their firm recently transferred to the Pershing platform, and when they explained the benefits of it, I thought it was pretty good. Gave them a lot more, investment
opportunities.
Yeah, a lot more investment. It's like tripled or quadrupled or something like that.
Okay.
But I was curious, what were the benefits of your firm that you explained to your customers about why it was transferred to Pershing versus staying with the current your current platform?
So we've been with Pershing since I've been with the firm. So I've been around 17 years or whatever. They've been with Pershing forever, and they did it just because Pershing is, I think, the largest platform out there. They're like most companies use, and so it's just like having a bank account, and it's just efficient, and they're good at what they do, and it's just what it is. It's the security of it. And
for us, it's more of where the money runs through, not necessarily what investments that Pershing has.
We can invest in anything on that platform. So we can do anything under the sun we could buy and hold on that platform. So maybe that's where they were restricted, where they were before, and now they're not. So. Yeah,
because it seemed like before they were kind of a captive financial planner and investment firm because of the way they were situated, but I guess they saw the opportunity to go with a bigger firm, and so they have a lot more investment opportunities. So I've been very pleased with the extra opportunities. I wasn't happy about having to change over like that.
Right,
that's
not
fun.
I
didn't know much about it, and I'd never heard of them before either. Never before.
So here's an example. So American Funds is very popular. So American Funds is Capital Group, and you trade on their platform. Well, all you can be in is American Funds,
right?
As opposed to Pershing, you could be in an American Funds mutual fund. You could be in a
Franklin Templeton.
You could be in
Vanguard.
anything. You could buy gold shares. You could do whatever. I mean, so they probably. And when I was at this conference, it was interesting that people were talking about what people want. And they said that people used to be satisfied with the status quo, and people today that are investing want more opportunities and they want more active management. That is the major trend out there, is they want their advisor to be not just in a buy and hold situation like used to be in the old days where they stuck you in a pile of mutual funds and never talked to you again. People today expect more, and they want them to be paying attention to the market, where to be in the market, what to do, what type of stock or funds to be in, and that's what we do. And so that's probably where they're headed then. They probably are going for more of a static situation to where they can actively manage money and move it around depending on the market, what the market is doing. Which is great for you.
Because I think my financial planner was very concerned about the limitations that they had been imposed on them, but they really didn't have much of an opportunity to change it because they're the financial planner. They're out in the field and not in a corporate setting. So it just always seemed to me that, there's other opportunities out there, but unfortunately I'm unable to do that. And so I think the demeanor showed up and really improved when they found out they were going to be going to Pershing. So it seemed a little bit happier and positive foresight into what was going to happen to the firm. And it wasn't something, even though I had never heard of them, I did not want to go ahead and change to go to somebody else because I've been with this person for 20 plus years.
Yeah, you find somebody that you like and you enjoy talking to that is helping you, it's a good thing.
Well, and you trust them, and so you trust their judgment. If they're changing, and like you said, even their demeanor changed where it's been a positive thing for them, and they're able to do more for their clients and help their clients better.
It's a good thing all around.
Yeah, you're going to trust them and their judgment.
Win-win.
Yay. Yeah, Yeah, because I know I trusted my parents' financial planner too, but unfortunately, being military and moving around, I just wasn't able to be with them all the time. And then that person ended up retiring, and so they're going to pass it on to somebody else in the firm. And I'm thinking, I don't know this person from anybody. So I said, well, it's been a nice go round, it's been a nice run, and it's just time to consolidate. So that's what I did, and they said, okay, we understand.
Good. And that's another big trend that's happening right now is you have a lot of financial advisors that have been in this business forever. And we were at a conference a few years ago before COVID hit, and one of our speakers said, look at this room and look at all the white hair. Y'all need to have a succession plan, which is what we're going through right now with Steve. We're going through the succession plan of transferring and us buying out his business. But you've got to have, for financial advisors, have to have a succession plan. You need, and as an investor, you need to see that they're going to look at you, taking care of you for the long haul. They can't just be that person. That person's not going to be around forever. So they need to have a plan as a firm so that you have the comfort zone of knowing they're going to take care of you all the way into your retirement years. And that's what we're working on. So, yeah, I'm glad you're happy. That's awesome. That's great. That's where everybody should be. Yeah, that's a good transition because I'd like to see that same thing, a transition plan in the company I'm with, because unfortunately, I don't know if they have an office in Macon, but I know they have an office in Atlanta, and I really don't want to have to do that. Right. But unfortunately, I'm the type of person that really doesn't like to change, professional people that I'm working with. I kind of like the relationship and learn from them and know them, and they become more like it's more of a friendship situation. Yep. So ask them the next time you meet with them, ask them what the plan is, because they have to be talking and thinking about it, because
no one wants to work forever.
No, Steve and I talked, we signed an agreement 8 years ago because he was going on all these trips. And he was going on 3-week cruises. And I said, what if you get hit on I-75 on the way to the airport and you're gone? I said, I have to have the capacity to buy out Nancy, his wife. And so we signed an agreement back then. Every advisor needs to have a plan. And so my plan is now, if I get hit by a bus, it goes to Randy. Do we have it all in writing? Everyone on the planet needs a plan. I don't care who you are and what you do for a living, but you need a plan of if you get taken out by something, what's going to happen? What's the next thing? So, just bug them at the next time you meet with them and ask them, because I'm sure they probably do. It sounds like they're good people, and so they're going to be prepared. But I'm glad you have a place that you like, and you have people that appreciate you, and you appreciate them, and you have a good relationship. That is the key. It makes it so much more fun.
That's what we tell everybody. We want you to be comfortable. Not everybody's going to mesh with us, and there may be somebody that gets on with Sherri better or me better, or they find someplace else to go. But you really have to be comfortable, because this is your finances, this is your whole life, this is your retirement, and
this person that has your money should be accountable to you. Yes. They should be meeting with you and talking with you and helping you and advising you. They shouldn't be ignoring you. And if they're ignoring you, you need to find some other place. Period.
Yeah, we meet at least once or twice a year.
And
that's great.
Good. I can call them up anytime, and I'll see them in the grocery store or out shopping or something like that, and we just start talking. So.
Yay! I love it. I love them. Yeah. Well, thank you for calling.
Yep.
You have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's great. That's a really good point, because there's a lot of people that don't get any attention and they put up with it, and I don't understand it. It's like, go find somebody you like to meet with and you enjoy it and you learn from them. Because it's amazing to me, when I got into this business, what blew my mind is people would come to me and they were close to retirement and they had never looked at what they were invested in their whole lives. They were told what to put their money in, and they just kept putting money in that one thing. And now they're 65, and they never understood what it even was.
And sometimes that works out, and sometimes it doesn't.
I just was like, what? You don't know what you're in? But they were like, we're busy. This is not my thing. I've just been throwing money at this. Tell me I'm going to be okay. I mean,
it's your whole future. It's what you've worked towards, and
you need to be aware. But the advisors for these plans don't always even show up at the company anymore. They just maybe send out an email, or they send you a statement, or you have to log in. Now you have to log in and try to figure out what you're in. So I see a lot of people that bring me their stuff, and they're like, I don't even understand what I'm doing. Am I doing the right thing? Even the TSP. I have people that ask me about that. Like, I don't understand. What is this? I'm in the whatever fund. So come see us, 478-922-8100, or text Becca. You can come in and sit down with us in Warner Robins or Macon, and we'll go through whatever you want to talk about. I don't care if it's your estate plan or your investments or your future retirement, options, or paying off debt, we don't even care. We would love to meet you. So just call, get in here, and see either one of us. It doesn't cost anything, which blows people's mind. We cannot accept money. Somebody wrote me a check the other day, and I said, I cannot accept that money. I can't legally do that. We don't take money for the appointment. So you can call us, 922-8100, or go to our website, retirelex.com. You can email us from there, and we'll sit down with you for an hour and talk about whatever you want to talk about financial. Now, make sure it's financial, because we have to stay in the lane. But anyways, anything you want to talk about, whatever you're worried about, your retirement, I don't care what it is. I mean,
like you said, estate planning, savings, anything, helping out other loved ones with their money. We're there for you.
But anyways, have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
The views expressed on this show should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities or services mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risk, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should only be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Securities are offered through Royal Alliance Associates Incorporated, member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services are offered through Rosenberg Financial Group, a registered investor advisor not affiliated with Royal Alliance Associates Incorporated. Offices are located at 2517 Moody Road, Warner Robins, and 4875 Riverside Drive, Suite 201 in Macon. Phone numbers are 922-8100 and 741-4457.
Broadcasting from the Jeff Smith Ford Studios, this is WMAC Macon, a Cumulus station. This is News Talk 940 WMAC.